What's going on, everybody? That's right, no intro song. There will be no outro song. Audio issues, so we're just gonna go old school. We're gonna guerrilla style, right? What they call it, man? Yeah.
That's right, bitches.
That's right. Look at that. JP is here with me, man. So welcome to Cheap Seats Boxing Show, baby. What's going on? Angela and JP back together. Well, I guess we got to do a couple shows for the end of the year before we take our time off, huh?
Yeah.
Gotta get something in.
We're gonna figure this out.
First things first, follow us on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You'll be next unofficial sponsor. You know how we do it. Like we keep on saying, it is very important, more important than ever, to keep our standing at number 4 on iTunes and top 5 to 7 on every other platform besides YouTube. So if you guys want to go there, go ahead, be my guest and hit subscribe on that. Email us cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. And welcome to all the listeners on every platform. Most of them we didn't even put up. Everybody else has done it for us. We appreciate you guys. And then there's one more listener, old school.
Man,
Zoom listener, man. People, you know what's funny is as the show goes on, people are going to be like, what the fuck is Zoom? You know? Oh, see, like we've been on long enough that technology has come and gone. All right, JP. I got people angry. I got some that played along when I did a Kodo, a quality hate Kodo poll up. You know, his best moment of his career. Of course, I put them all as losses. And then talking shit about Kodo because I'm not a huge Kodo fan, and I'll explain why. But JP, you are a huge Kodo fan. What'd you think? I know there's a little bit of heartbreak for you. He loses to Saddam Ali in his last fight ever. Maybe, who knows?
Man, they could have just gave him the victory. They robbed everybody else this year. Hell, you know, now they want to let him go out. No, I mean he got beat. Real talk, he got beat. Competitive, he fought. He went out. Not necessarily, you could say on his shield in a degree. He gave some, he got some. But you know, tip your hat to a great career. It's time to go. And you know, as far as my top 3 fighters that I had for the longest, he was the last of the Mohicans. Manny wasn't my top 3. It was Floyd, Sergio, and Cotto. I gotta have a whole new list now. You know, but I didn't think at first. I didn't think Ali was good enough to beat him in general. So he showed me something. You know,
I don't think Ali is good enough to beat him. It's just he's just old. He's old. He's past it. People got like his late career surge for me was a lot of smoke and mirrors. I mean, he really didn't beat anybody of note. The Sergio fight, yeah, that was a name, but if you look, and it's not a knock on Cotto that Sergio fought with one leg. It's not his fault, but it also hid, I think, what was in front of you. That, I mean, it took him, like, he was on one leg, and it took Cotto 9 rounds to get him out of there, even though he batted him around for a while. Like, I think it just hid a lot of the things that there. And, you know, he went 12 with Canelo. And going into that fight, I told you, Canelo was going to make that go 12. He's not going to put himself into harm's way. That's just not who Canelo is. The Kamagai fight, people are like, oh, he's as fast as ever. No, Kamagai's that slow. And it really isn't a knock on him. He is we lost a listener. R.I.P. to the listener and I won't call him out, to the listener I lost for calling Cotto overrated. Cotto is overrated in my opinion.
Don't you disrespect my...
That doesn't mean he's not a great fighter. That doesn't mean he's not a Hall of Fame fighter. But when I say overrated, when it came to Cotto, it was because of words like he's a legend, and he's a Puerto Rican legend. There's no doubt about that. He's probably the 5th best in my opinion. He's not on the Mount Rushmore. He's on the outside of it. The biggest face on there is obviously Tito Camacho. I put Camacho underneath him. You got Benitez and Vasquez. Yeah. But and look, you can't question me when it comes to my opinion because I've put that opinion out there when we used to do a lot with Latino Sports Talk, who was mostly Puerto Rican and one Cuban, and then me and you would chime in. So this is an opinion that I'm not afraid to put out there. He is a great fighter. He's a Hall of Fame fighter. He will not get in on the first ballot. He should, but he won't, because I think it's a 3-fighter max on the Hall of Fame. Well, this year, unless things change, you will have the last fights of Mayweather, Pacquiao, Klitschko. He doesn't go over any of those 3, in my opinion.
I think Manny's still gonna.
I think, well, Floyd is already hinting that he's coming back. So you never know how that shit goes.
It depends.
Is he ahead of a Marquez? See, to me, those guys are really close. They're really close. And when I say overrated, I only meant in the talk of legend. He's not, in my opinion, he's not an overall all-time great legend. He is a great fighter who was one of the best of his generation, but I wouldn't put him as a legend. I would almost put him under Marquez, and definitely under Manny, under Floyd, under Klitschko. I'd put him as, I guess I'd put him at like the 5th best of this generation, the people who just retired. It just depends on where you want to put these guys, because age is always. But I put it as far as where these guys,
how about
landed.
If you couldn't put them on that level, so could you say Marquez, Cotto, Judah would be in the same kind of group?
Yeah, that's a weird thing too, because there's just different ways of looking about it, because
they're great fighters, but
Judah didn't have the career of Cotto.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously lost to Cotto, but also in a way is more accomplished because he was undisputed champion, which even Mayweather and Pacquiao did not do. They didn't do that. I mean, so yes, he's above Judah. There's no doubt about that. But I would.
No, I'm just saying in the same.
Yeah. But I would put like Marquez above him. I mean, that's just a personal preference. If you wanted to swap those two out, I'm fine with it. I really am. But to me, all-time great. He is an all-time heart guy. He pretty much fought everybody, but just because you lost to everybody who was at the top, to me that obviously puts you at the next level underneath. That's just and that's why I say overrated. Now I don't know why people get so ass hurt when I talk about Cotto. Like, they have a little love affair, and they think Cotto may be the closet homosexual, but it may be the Cotto fans. And
I ain't been saying that about him.
no, but because those people always talk about that, But when I talk about it, people get upset. Now we go back a few weeks when we were talking about Canelo and Triple G. I call Canelo the most overrated, underrated. The people who love him overrate him. The people who hate him underrate him. And Cotto doesn't get a lot of hate, so it's kind of hard for him to be underrated, because he really is universally loved. Yeah. And I think that's what plays into the ascension of he's an all-time legend. He's an all-time great. He's even a great fighter, above great fighter, but he's more of that. I could equate it to baseball, and he's even better than that. But say Randy Johnson. And this is Diamondbacks reference.
Unit.
No, Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling. They both made the Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. They both won the World Series. They both got MVP in the World Series. They both had Cy Youngs. There's a difference. Randy Johnson's an all-time great.
And Curt Schilling's
just a great pitcher. And then that's not a disrespect to him. To me, that's just how I differentiate it.
Okay.
He had legendary. Did he have legendary performances? Because that's what my whole thing was. When you dig into his career, and I know, God, it sounds like I'm shitting on him. Fuck it, I don't give a shit. But
I care.
I didn't get to do the preview, so I got to get this all out. I didn't do one last week, but his best win ever is definitely the Shane Mosley fight. Some people say, well, Shane was a little bit past it already. That's fine. But what I try to do is I look at the last 3 to 4 fights before that fight. And where were these guys at? And he was on a little bit of a roll. He had beat Margarito. He'd been on a roll. He beat Collazo. That's a good win. Probably his best win of his career. The only other one that could compete with that, and it's kind of shows you where his best career moments were at, was probably an undefeated Paulie Malignaggi. Because the Judah fight, which was sandwiched in between those, Judah hadn't won a fight in 2 years going into that fight. He was like on a 3-fight winless streak going into that fight. We know that he lost to all the best 5 fighters he fought at the time, the biggest 5 threats that he ever fought. They all beat him. So to me, that kind of just puts him a notch below. And I know people don't count the Margarito win because, for whatever reason, now Margarito cheated in that fight because he got caught not cheating but trying to cheat in the Mosley fight. Okay. So they're like, well, that wasn't the first time, right? Well, that wouldn't have been the first time. But people who don't like other people hold that thought. But when they like somebody, if they got caught, well, it was just one time. There has to be consistencies. So if somebody gets caught, they got caught. If they haven't got caught after that, then so be it. So that's how I always looked at that. Okay, I'm gonna try to be impartial. Be the opposite of me.
No. Here's the thing. I like Cotto. Younger, coming up, that style, beating the brakes off of people. It was just something that you could fall in love with. Even it was like on the young heels of Tito, right? So he kind of got a boost from that too. When it comes to his wins and losses, it depends on how you look at it. Because people will say, okay, Margarito was cheating, right? People will say Manny, okay, that counts for Manny. Manny was in his prime. But then other people will say Manny might have been on that stuff during that era. That was right before he didn't want to take the test. You get what I'm saying? And then you got, I don't know what to say about the Floyd fight. It depends on how people look at Floyd after the fact. You get what I mean? Who was it? Canelo? Yeah. Canelo. But Canelo was too big.
Trout.
I don't know what to say about the Trout. He just got beat by Trout. That's just, But on the flip side, you could say this: he beat Margarito past his prime. And you could say, well, he beat Sergio. And he made Sergio drain weight at 160 to fight 155. So that nullifies some things. Not, just forget the one leg part of it. Paulie, okay, he beat Paulie. And then people could say, but Paulie can't punch. And the same thing with Shane. He beat Shane. But which Shane we talking? Mm-hmm. So I get it. I do get it. But that don't stop me from liking him and thinking he's a great fighter.
Yeah, and that was my whole thing. Was like, it's not a hate thing. It's just my personal opinion. It's like, I can have it. And and that was funny because the guy who tweeted me, I'm not going to listen to your show no more. Motherfucker, you listen to the show to hear my opinion. When you don't like my opinion, then all of a sudden you don't want to listen no more? What are you, you a Fox News or MSNBC guy? Like, I'm only going to listen to the guys who fucking have my opinion.
Fair and balanced.
I mean, come on, man. I only want to listen to the side that thinks exactly like I do. That's fucking boring.
See, that's the problem with you liberal boxing fans, okay? You always want to take these liberal boxing talking points, and you don't want to be on the side of the true conservative in this nation. But yeah,
it is. There's a lot to that, though.
You got to take it with a grain. You like who you like, and just because you like somebody doesn't necessarily mean they're the best. Mm-hmm. And just because you don't like somebody doesn't mean that they're not the best or the worst. It is what it is. With him, congratulations, great ass career. You can't, like, for some people, he was one of the most. He had heart. He's a warrior. Mm-hmm. He talked a little to nothing. Everybody, he considers him a gentleman. People like him. People like what he brings to the ring. He carries himself with class and dignity. But you could tell he got that killer instinct in him.
Oh, yeah.
So, the other thing, he can also be marred with that, maybe didn't necessarily fall off. It was just he lost a little bit of it when his father died.
Yeah.
So you can. He has a lot of nuances that other fighters have had. He's had a bulk of them, which lets you know that's the up and downs of life and the up and downs of boxing. When he has that much in the middle of all that, because even his accomplishments can be considered great, but his accomplishment could be like, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah.
And we're living in the era of LeBron James. Okay, you can be 3-8 in the finals and still be great. Chill out.
It's 11 finals.
You know, shit. 3-5, the same thing.
I know. It's an exaggeration. But I'm just saying.
He's better than Jerry West.
Better than Will Chamberlain.
Damn, Will was that bad?
He only got one, didn't he?
How many did he play in?
He played in a few. He lost most of them.
Because I know West played one out of 9.
Oh, did he? I wasn't that bad. He wasn't. Well, that was against the Celtics teams, man.
Yeah, they were whooping the shit out.
What was I going to say? Yeah. I had a revelation, too. I fucking saw Miguel Cotto fight live. Who fucking knew? I forgot all about it. I'm going through his box ring like, hey, Salon Arena. Nobody fought at Salon Arena in Fresno. Except Floyd Mayweather. And I go and look, I was at that fight. Of course, lucky for me, it was the first fight of the Money Mayweather era. Oh, lucky me. That was boring.
But he got paid.
I was like, goddamn, Miguel Cotto was on there. And then, as soon as I saw that he was on there, and I was like, KO4. That was a body shot. In my head, like, that was a body shot. It was the only knockout of the night. It was a long night at the Bulldog Arena. It was a long night. Goddamn, I've seen Miguel Cotto fight. Who knew? So I've seen Miguel Cotto fight. And I haven't been to a lot of fights, but I've seen Cotto fight live. I guess I've seen Mayweather fight live. I saw Lennox Lewis fight live. Michael Moore. I've seen some. Yeah, so I've seen some guys here and there. But you know what? Hats off to a great career. He never had boring fights. No. He really didn't. And I think that also plays into the love affair and what people think. It's the only reason that Arturo Gotti's in the Hall of Fame. It's the only reason. Is because of that kind of spirit that I'm never going to give up. I'm always going to come. It plays a lot into it. Arturo Gotti's not a Hall of Famer, guys.
You're going to lose some people with that.
I know. Damn it! I know.
You fucking.
I lost the 5 Italians that are listening. Shit.
Tell that fucking Mooly. Okay.
All right. Let's get into this weekend. We're going to skip around. Like, I'm not going to get into the undercards last week. I'm not going. Like, I'm going to skip right over this. I'm going to mention it because it's on Showtime on their YouTube page. Cool. I'll take it. James DeGale returns. Caleb Truax. Lee Selby. I'm always when it comes to any Lee Selby fight.
Ooh.
James DeGale just has to be the right opponent. But it's just nondescript. Like, it's not even getting buzz in the UK. You know, I'm listening to a couple UK shows, and they're like, I don't give a fuck about that shit. The only thing that I would say was, if they're showing all of it, and hopefully they're showing at least the 4 guys that I want to see, which of course went over with DeGale, Selby. But if they show Anthony Yarde and Daniel Dubois,
interesting.
Watch the continued growth of those two, the heavyweight and the light heavyweight, and Dubois and then Yarde, respectively. I would say watch those. The HBO card, look, Orlando Salido, Miguel Roman. It doesn't really excite me. Doesn't entice me. I'm not like, yeah, it's Salido. It's fun, but to me, these just aren't HBO fights. I guess that's kind of a shitty way of looking at it. They're just not HBO fights, man. They're just not a headliner, at least.
That's a fucking WWE slugfest.
It would be the old school boxing after dark. To me, that's the kind of fight that is. It's not a. I mean, they don't even really do that. It's all the same. Now, boxing after dark, it used to be literally after dark. It was like fucking 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
got curfew.
Yeah, nowadays this shit just starts at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So I'm going to skip over that. Now, the one thing is, I like the undercard fight because I want to see what Tevin Farmer has. I want to see, the good thing for him, he's not a big puncher, so I guess getting shot in the hand is not the worst thing that's ever happened.
Nope.
So.
Nope.
Maybe it numbed him up, man. Maybe he'll actually sit on his punches more.
If he knocks somebody out, whoever he knocks out from this point on, and I got a hole in his hand, punk. Imagine if I had a whole hand. But I hope I know it's gonna be a great fight. It would be like another great year, another great story each year. You know, if it happens, it happens. I want to see the first fight, though. I want to see Salido and Roman fight. Like, that's a fight.
No, it is.
That's a literal fight. That's you could put a spit bucket next to your table at the wing spot for that. You're like, they about to get at it.
Yeah, they are going to get at it. Now Farmer though, I want to see, like, he ain't got no thunder in his fist, but typing on his thumbs, motherfucker got thunder because him and Gervonta Davis go at it.
Well, no, I gotta say this. God damn, Devin Haney, you ain't had to say that shit.
I didn't know what he said.
Woo! Let me tell you something. We just talking about Tevin Farmer because he got the fight.
He's just a kid too.
It's been Devin and Tank going at it.
And I think if you saw, I think Andre Ward was kind of telling these guys,
chill. Shut
the fuck up. In Andre Ward speak, you know. Look, you can say, look, this younger generation is so disrespectful. Don't talk about it. You know, be about it. Don't tell me you need to be respected, earn it. It's his way of saying, shut the fuck up. I earned mine. Love me or hate me. My persona, which he didn't have he didn't have a lot of personality, and that's why a lot of times it rubbed people the wrong way because it was so bland that it was just like. But it's his way of saying, shut the fuck up, and Tank, make weight, motherfucker, before you start talking shit. Because Tevin Farmer's fighting for the belt that you got stripped from because you couldn't make it 2 fights in a row. That's on you.
That's just karma. Because remember, prior to that, Tevin was challenging him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, who are you? I don't know you. So now, the thing about it is, and I think Tevin already said this, if I win the belt, I'm going to make you wait. Mm-hmm. Just like you made me wait. So, I don't know why you talking. You should know, who are you? Like, you know it's going to happen. It's going to build up a great fight if it ever happens. But, I mean, that's karma. You know.
If I was Farmer, I'd make it at 128.
See, you can't make it now. Where we fighting at?
We fighting at 128.
Nah, we ain't fighting.
I'm a little 130.
What is the we fighting in Vegas in front of In-N-Out Burger? Like, yeah. How you doing?
But I'm definitely interested in seeing Tevin Farmer. People, because like his fights are literally shot on like a telephone. Or in his home arena. I mean, like, you can get the clips of Farmer, but you have to go find them. So, in a mass audience, they're finally gonna get to see Tevin Farmer. I like the story of Farmer. Not push he got shot through the hand, whatever the party was, whatever. Just the fact that I like the way he came up. He came up that Salido way. He came up the Margarito way. He came up. Even what was his name? Why am I
lost early?
Donaire, where they lost early. Manny Pacquiao, they lose early. They learn. Bernard, like that. I love that way of coming up because you learn to deal with adversity, and it can either make you or break you, and if it doesn't break you, it'll make you later on in your career.
You could technically say the same about Lomachenko.
Don't steal my thunder.
Sorry!
I'll save that one for later, yeah. No, you're right. No, you're exactly right. Even Lomachenko, that Loma had to go through, he learned on the curve, but it was a hard curve. But I want to see Farmer. I expect him to win. I expect him to get the title, and I expect him to talk a lot of shit to Gervonta Davis on Twitter afterwards. Like I said, them thumbs. He's got lightning and thunder in them motherfuckers.
I like the style because it's a change of pace when you're watching boxing. Like it's been a lot of 12-round fights, right? It's not a lot of headhunters and a lot of knockout artists because when you want them to knock people out, they really don't. You get what I'm saying? So it's like a mixed bag. But he's closest to, in this era, to Pernell Whitaker style. You know, it's really defensive. He makes slipping and stuff exciting because he's right there. He's not really going to run from you. He's going to be right there. You're just not going to be able to hit him when he's right there.
See, now that style to me is an enjoyable style. It kind of reminds me of James Toney style, who was one of my 3 favorite fighters in the 90s. I love James Toney. Anybody who can make you miss when they're looking right at you, that's special talent, man.
Yeah.
You know, like even Floyd, Pretty Boy Floyd days, when he was banging with you, but then you'd get him on the ropes and he'd use that shell and you're done. You just look silly. But yeah, I like that style. I just wish he had a little bit more pop, because even Pernell Whitaker goes, guy's a little light-handed, man. I don't know, man. He's a little feather-fisted to me.
That happens.
But I tell you what, we all know what the main event this weekend is.
Yes.
The fight for the greatest
amateur of all time
ever. Guillermo Rigondeaux coming up 2 weight classes to fight Vasyl Lomachenko on ESPN. We won't get to say who we like right now. But how do you see? Like, what do you see to these guys? What's the key for each of these guys?
Lomachenko has the weight advantage, but he doesn't have the power advantage. You can look at it both ways psychologically, because he has the weight advantage, he can have a psychological advantage. You jumped up 2 weight classes, you're not really ready for this. You know, it's a difference. And at the same time, Rigo could have a psychological advantage, like, you ain't want to meet me in the middle because you scared I was whip your ass. So that you still scared no matter how many weight classes I go up. I could still whip your ass. So you got that thing. You got both of them are very accomplished. They've probably seen it all. I would say Rigo has the advantage versus the southpaw because everybody in Cuba is a southpaw. So there's things in his game that he has never been able to show, because he's been fighting a lot of orthodox fighters in a sense. So now you're going to see he's able to pull out the tricks in the bag that he had against the southpaws in Cuba. But then you got Lomachenko has an advantage where it comes to, he doesn't really hit you with them sticking shots at first. Mm-hmm. So that pawing, Rigo has a nice defense, but he doesn't use his, he really doesn't use his hands as much as other people. Like, he just move out the way and get his head. So that pawing could, he could time a palm right to a certain amount, it might crack him. So, like, for all intents and purposes, they have basically a level playing field. And because I look at it in this way, Lomachenko is not going to me, he's probably not going to be any bigger than Donaire was when they fought in New York. So, does the size really matter? I don't think Lomachenko has Donaire type power. So, I feel like this is going to be a straight up fight. Like, even with the weight, it's just be a straight fight. So, I'm gonna sit front and center.
Well, if weight is, it's not an excuse. He already said it's not an excuse, so we're not gonna let him go backtrack on that. As far as Rigo goes, being a mental edge, I don't give it either way, because he could have had this fight at 126. He didn't agree to the $500,000. He from his mouth, I don't know why people can't understand that part. He literally said $500,000 was enough. I will be very curious to see what the purse is for this. Anything less than $500,000, he looks like a fool. And what happened is, I think, is that he got to the point in his career, he's like, man, I'm 37 years old. I gotta have this fucking fight, you know. I'm not gonna worry about the disadvantages and stuff like that. I need to get paid, you know, because his promotional companies take a shitload of money from him. But to me, there is no advantage in boxing wise. They're skill wise, they're on level. They do certain things better than others. Loma's footwork is probably a little bit better than Rigo's. Rigo uses his body more in his positioning to avoid punches rather than, like you said, his fists or his feet. He uses his feet to go backwards, but when he's dodging punches, he really bends backward a lot and uses his body to get away from punches. Jab wise, it's probably a push. It all depends on the strength of their jabs. Output, I think, is a huge advantage for Lomachenko. Rigo does not throw a lot of punches, and he's only getting older, which means he's not going to throw a lot of punches. So he has the advantage of work rate. He's going to throw way more combinations than Rigo ever will. Rigo is generally a one shot at a moment guy.
That's why it's interesting, because when I look at both of their footwork, is great, but Lomachenko they both have like tactical like footwork. They both know how to just slide that foot over, and the other person doesn't know. So I could see that happening to either fighter.
You're gonna see a lot of trying to position the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, but
establishing dominance.
The other thing is, I noticed Rigo has he has a literal, like, he has these quick movements, these little slides and spins, and it's like, he's real relaxed. And this is why I like it, because when you get these two fighters in the ring, these are two guys who, if you saw them in the street, you knew they fought. Because they are so relaxed. Like, yeah, shit, I've been here 1,000 times. Like, if they block a punch or slip a punch, it looks like it's in slow motion. It's like, I seen that shit 7 years ago. I remember that punch. So the chess match is going to be interesting. Now, as far as the output, it's funny because Lomachenko does have the work rate. But the question is, will that work rate cause a firefight? Because he can't win in a firefight versus Rigo. I don't think so. I think, because Rigo throws, all 17 punches he going to throw that round are all going to have bad intentions. And that's the issue. Like, it's going to be great. And body work.
Will anybody go to the body? I don't know if they're going to be I'll be interested to see if they're going to have a lot of opportunities. I expect to see more jabs to the body than hooks to the body. Speed wise, I always go with the smaller guy for speed. Always. Rigo's the smaller guy. He's going to probably be faster than Loma with the feet and with the hands. He's going to get from point A to point B with his punches quicker than Lomachenko will. I think one punch pop, I think you might be right that Rigo is a little bit heavier handed. We've seen more people's face look more fucked up than Loma's. Knockout percentage, I think they're pretty fucking even. Mm-hmm. We got so little to go by. Neither one of these guys even fought 20 times. So,
combined, no, they're about
yeah, right about there. I think, and you hit on this earlier, the one huge advantage for Lomachenko is Orlando Salido. Mm-hmm. Because in their professional career, only one guy has had to come back from adversity when things weren't going his way. He's become a better fighter since that fight. Now, that doesn't mean that Rigo can't. He actually responds well when he gets knocked down. But they're generally against like lighter hitting guys. The one guy that put him on Queer Street in Japan was not a big puncher. Mm-hmm. And if he gets knocked down, he's going to have to fight for his life, I think, because I think you'll see Lomachenko jump on him if and when he gets him down. And I expect him to knock him down at some point. Like you were saying, the pity pat stuff, like at the beginning, just the little pawing punches. I think is going to be, that could be a disadvantage or an advantage. It just depends, because that could lull Rigo into a sense of confidence, and when he gets overconfident, he leaves himself to be hit, and that's why he has 4 or 5 knockdowns in his career.
That's why, man. Like, I look at it like this. One of the greatest things we're going to be able to see is punch selection. Because both of these fighters, they have, like, go-to things, but they're not afraid to throw any shot. Like, any shot. You're like, what the fuck did he really threw that? Like, if they think it'll land, it's coming. The other thing is the overconfidence of both fighters. Because when either one of them get rolling, they start feeling themselves and they start showing it. And the crazy part about it is, remember, who was that? Danny Jacobs and Sergio Mora. Knocked him down, started feeling it, and got knocked right back down. This can be one of those fights where each fighter feels it. Like, I'm rolling up. Pow! Damn, I didn't see that one coming.
And I think that this will be the fight that Lomachenko's chin will be tested the most. We will see what kind of chin he has, because he's going to get hit with the most clean shots he's probably ever gotten hit with. Because, let's be honest, Salido didn't hit him with very many clean shots.
the only person I could think of who hit him clean was Gary Russell.
He handled it well.
Yeah. And
Gary Russell was now, that may be the only guy who, I mean, nobody has faster hands than fucking Gary Russell. I mean, really, he really has fucking...
He does, but he got short arms.
Yeah, he does. Which bodes well, because the shorter guy in Rigo could be able to get to him. I think actually reach-wise, I think they're pretty fucking close, because Rigo's got some long-ass arms, man. He got some long-ass arms.
He got the Bruce Lee arms.
He's 5'2", but he's got the reach of a guy 6'2". And confidence-wise, that's the one thing, that's the one advantage I'll give Rigo. Lomachenko is supremely confident. You don't come into the pros wanting a title fight in your first fight unless you're supremely confident. But if you've ever heard a Guillermo Rigondeaux interview, and you can get somebody to translate it for you, you will never hear anybody more fucking confident than Guillermo Rigondeaux. That's just the God's honest truth. There's nobody more confident in their skills than that guy.
You made me forget. I remember. And plus the fact that I remember earlier, remember Lomachenko, they asked him did he want to fight Rigo early. He's like, nah, I'm not ready just yet. I was sure Rigo somewhere. And the motherfucker don't want no parts of me now.
Oh, yeah.
You goddamn right.
Yeah.
He still don't want this fight.
I think it's going to be a great fight. I expect this, and I'll start it off. I expect it to go 12. I expect it to be a 7-5 fight. I expect one knockdown. I think that the size will be at an advantage. But this is going to be a really tight fight. The people who think that it's just going to be a blowout, I just don't see a blowout in this fight. I think that even if Rigo gets hurt and gets caught really good, he is smart enough, technically sound enough, and defensively minded enough that he can withstand those barrages. He's smart enough and cagey enough to get through any trials in that fight. It's just a matter of, is he going to have the size and the power? Because if he doesn't have the power to keep Loma off of him, then he's just going to eventually get walked down and outworked. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be, it'll actually be clear down the end of the fight if that's the way it goes. You'll see Lomachenko win the last 4 out of 5 rounds probably. If he's not like respecting the power. If you respect the power, you're just going to see a chess match. It's probably going to be more of a boring fight than an exciting fight. But I always say, I don't care how the fight is. When you get the best fighting the best, that's all you can ask for. And that's what we're getting in this fight. You know, I don't care about the weight differential. I don't care about any of the other shit. Because I would much rather see him fight a Rigo coming up 2 weight classes than fight a nondescript defense at 130. That's just my opinion.
Man,
by the way, that makes it 115, 112 for Lomachenko for me.
I'm going Rigo. I just have a New York with a fighter with that much hype. I've seen this shit before.
He was Music City when he was
down
there.
So, but the way I look at it, ultimately, even with that, it's got to be a blowout if Rigo wins. I don't think Rigo can win a close fight because boxing the judging has been fucked, and Lomachenko is on a roll, and he's like the next big thing. So to win, you got to win convincingly. You know, this close stuff, you might not, you gonna catch an L like that. So even with the weight classes, you got to know that going in there. Mm-hmm. You know, but I think either fighter who wins, in my opinion, is probably gonna win by a blowout because if they figure each other out, they're gonna make the other person work double time to get out of the hole that they dug themselves in. So that's the issue I think that both fighters has, because normally when I say, you know, if you lose 2 rounds in a row with these guys, 2 rounds could cost you, but they can work past that. If you down 3, your ass might be done for good, you know, and that's the issue. But on a bigger landscape of it, if Rigo wins, I would say you might as well go for Homicide Hank apparel and go for the title in the middle weight class 2, and then be defending 3 at once. You get what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna jump 2 weight classes if you win, you might as well get the weight class in the middle and say, look, I'm the champion in 3 different weight classes simultaneously.
You gonna go to featherweight?
I mean,
he couldn't get any of those guys to fight him beforehand, so I don't know how he's gonna do it.
I mean, he could just, all he got is he's holding one title. He could say, look, you know, I could fight this, and this. There you go. You know, because if he makes that weight and he stays at his weight, he still got a class in the middle. If Lomachenko wins, though, I know what's right around the corner for him. You fighting Mikey Garcia. That's because he even talked about going up and all that other stuff. So, you know, is he gonna fight Russell again? Probably not. And the Mikey fight was already talked about, and Mikey was like, "You're not on my level." And you know, what would be the next biggest fight for him? It have to be Mikey.
I tell you what, if Mikey does what is rumored to be his next fight, I'm gonna shit on Mikey. And you know I love Mikey, but I gotta shit on him if a fucking Omar Figueroa fight is next after he turns down, after he turns down Linares in a possible Cotto fight. I got to shit on you. You fucking turn all that shit down to fight fucking Omar Figueroa, and at a weight that you shouldn't be fighting at anyway, because it's just two guys who are gonna come in flabby at 147. It's an ugly look, man.
So, we about to see.
And you know me, I ain't afraid to shit on motherfuckers. Oh shit,
the fans.
We're trying to get our attention, motherfucker. We're working on something more important than actual work. All right, and that's a boxing podcast. So leave us alone. So you got Rigo by decision.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see this being a stoppage either way, because these guys, each fighter has plan A, B, C, D, and E, and they'll probably go through all of them. There's going to be a lot of adjustments, and that's why I think it's going to be a little bit more slower paced. It's going to be more of a fight that people are going to be like, oh god, this is, especially the casual fans who don't know the entire backstory. Even when they say 2 gold medalists, it doesn't really ring a bell because they don't know, whatever, you know. True. That's what I expect. I expect to see a chess match, and great chess matches. We know one thing about those, even if we've never watched one. They take a long time. They're a little bit slow processing.
This is Grandmaster Bobby Fischer-esque. Snap the button.
Yeah. All right, there it is. We go on opposite sides. We'll see if you're more close to our... Makes me think of the Rigo Donaire or predictions.
Oh, man.
Honestly, I got a sneaky suspicion that Rigo... I got a sneaky suspicion he's going to win it, but I think that just might be my way of talking myself into it. I've said I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop outthinking myself, especially when everybody is picking Rigo.
Oh damn! I didn't know that.
I have not heard anybody say that they think Rigo, other than a Twitter thing. Some Cuban guy on Twitter, and maybe Neeson.
Neeson say, I'm down.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't. When the boxing public is one side, I didn't see anybody picking fucking Saddam Ali last week. I know that.
I did.
All right, we're going to cut it off. It's going to be a little bit shorter, guys. Sorry, that's just how it goes. We got it together. We got it in when we can. It's Christmas time, baby. We're going to do this one more time. Okay, 2 more times. 2 more times. Next week, we will talk the Rigo Loma recap, and then the last fight that we're going to talk about this whole year, and that will be David Lemieux versus Billy Joe Saunders. We'll have to talk about that. And then you guys will be getting the year-end review, and then my year-end recap that I will do as a 2-parter to fill in the time, because there's a lot of things that we forget about that. Everybody remembers the big stuff, but I'll be filling in like month to month how the fights that we didn't remember, or maybe certain circumstances that happened that kind of go untold. We'll do that. We'll do our year-end award show in 2 weeks. That'll be the last one of the year. And then the year-end recap will cover 2 week. There'll probably be a 1 week or 2 week period in between there. And then we will start at the end of January. That's how your holiday season for Cheap Seats Boxing is going to go. I think I've hit everything. So follow us on Twitter at Cheap Seats Box, iTunes, rate, review. You'll be next unofficial sponsor. Very important, people. I cannot emphasize it enough. Email us cheapseatsboxing@gmail.com. Questions, comments, anything like that. Follow us on all the platforms, YouTube, all that good shit. Spread the word. Retweet the show, please. Keep it going. I appreciate everybody who has done that. We got some great listeners, man, except that one that left us. JP, you got anything else that you want to finish off? Yeah.
I forgot this the last few weeks. Rafael Garcia, Cesar Diaz, both rest in peace. And congratulations to Zab Judah.
Oh yeah, working in the nursing assistant.
Yeah, that's dope, helping out people with dementia and whatnot. So, other than that, this is where the fighters fight and the fans commentate.
And we do it just like you for the Cheap Seats. We ain't buying no tickets, goddammit. Peace. And like I said, guys, sorry, no outro music this week. Sorry, guys. Peace.
Bitches!